when the LeBron James glazing machine accidentally exposes the donut.
You've been living in a dream world, Neo.
On a recent live show with Sports and Fitness Rants, we were talking about, yet again, the over-glazing of a historic event that most of us wouldn't have even thought about until the media told us we should think about it.
I have seen how good you are at following orders. I will tell you what to do next.
And Sports and Fitness Rants expressed that he didn't know that Karl Malone held that record because no one told us to. And I said, you know what? I don't know who held it before Karl Malone either, because we just weren't brainwashed into thinking about these things. But this led me to want to go and look at the game in which Karl Malone got his triple-double at the age of 40, and it led to me thinking about a wide number of other things, all revolving around the fact that this over-glazing being done for the sake of LeBron James by the LeBron James media machine has actually exposed LeBron James again. I'm realizing Karl Malone was better than LeBron James. No, we don't have time for intro music. This is going to be a very long video. We have to back up to the fact that you probably don't even know that Karl Malone existed. I mean, the way that they've been talking about LeBron James in his later years, you'd think that no 40-year-old has ever played in the NBA before, much less performed better than LeBron James as 40-year-olds. I'm not here to advocate for Karl Malone as a player or a person, but when the LeBron James media machine tries to convince the world that we've never seen anything like this before, then I think, well, wait a minute. You actually just reminded me that we have, only more impressively. What do I mean by more impressively? This is Malone at age 40. Malone had tougher defensive assignments. Malone was still running up and down the court. Malone is clearly bigger and stronger than LeBron James, even with LeBron James on steroids. Maybe Karl was on roids too. I don't know, but it's neither here nor there because Karl wasn't being given ad campaigns about defeating Father Time, about being an Iron Man, when the reality is that LeBron James has been missing massive portions of the season while being celebrated for being an Iron Man, while Karl Malone, in the late stages of his career, indeed the same ages as LeBron James in his later years with the Lakers, was playing entire seasons or nearly entire seasons. This final season, the one with fewer games, was due to a legitimate knee injury. Not sitting out here, not sitting out there, sitting out through the injury, but coming back in time for the playoffs, indeed helping spark the Lakers into the playoffs, even being a leader for the Lakers, getting them past some of their tough opponents in the early rounds of the playoffs. While 40-year-old Karl Malone played an integral role for the Lakers through the playoffs, both offensively and defensively, where was 40-year-old LeBron James? Oh, right, an early exit of his own doing. I have a 7, 8, 9, 10-part series about how bad LeBron James was against the Timberwolves. But hey, Rudy Gobert will always thank you for giving him the best game of his career.
I had the time of my life.
And he owes it to LeBron. We're going to get to this later, but I can't resist a teaser that this guy actually had the nerve to say he didn't care about stats after throwing a fit about a teammate interfering with his stats. Okay, this is the part of the video where we are going to go play by play comparing Malone to LeBron and starting with rebounds. Starting with Duncan, you can tell from the clock at the beginning of the game, Duncan's trying to post up Malone. Malone is going to defend Duncan before pulling in the rebound. LeBron James, rebound number 1. I think there's a series of lower body fouls going on there. Let's take another look. So LeBron James is getting beaten. His legs are crossed up, and he's using about 60-pound advantage on the other player. Jackson Hayes also fouls, and then LeBron does that offhand shove in the air that he's so well known for doing. And the offensive player hits the ground. LeBron James is freed up to grab that rebound. Now, fanboys, I hope you enjoyed watching that, because that's the best rebound of the game for LeBron James. In fact, that's the only one in which you can see him doing anything that resembles defense. The rest of the time, he's guarding Casper. The rest of the time, LeBron James is guarding nobody while getting ready to grab an uncontested defensive rebound. But before LeBron moves on to guarding Casper, he's guarding Brandon Williams. Who? Yeah, I know what you mean. But the important takeaway is Brandon Williams is 6'1", 190, 8 inches and 60 pounds smaller than LeBron James. But that's the way LeBron James always likes it. Malone, by contrast, is guarding a future Hall of Famer who is 2 inches taller than himself. But even at only 6'1", at least we could see Brandon Williams. I can't even see who LeBron James is supposed to be guarding from here on out. My apologies to Casper, no disrespect intended. Charity Case James is allowed to meander over to get into rebounding position with absolutely no defensive responsibilities, while poor Marcus Smart is left to box out the 6'10 Marvin Bagley. However, are you doing it at this age, LeBron? All right, switching back over to Karl Malone. Dude, that is a big man. I admit I would have preferred something more impressive than a free throw rebound, but you know where LeBron is on these? Mid-court, resting. Anyway, it might not be the most amazing rebound, but it's certainly better than LeBron's second rebound. Did you see what I saw? Observation James, just watching the play go by and waiting for the rebound. His team not only has to accept that they're going to give him the rebound, they also have to accept that they are going to be short one defensive player in the process of making sure LeBron James gets these rebounds. And don't try to tell me that he is guarding the corner, and don't try and tell me that he's playing help defense. He neither guards the corner nor helps. Now, Malone doesn't end up with the rebound on this play, but I'm showing it anyway because you can see that he is guarding Duncan the entire play. And, you know, I thought we were supposed to be impressed that 40-year-olds could do anything at this point. This is a 40-year-old chasing Duncan around on the floor, and he's helping. And he helped. You understand? He helped. Here is LeBron's third rebound against Casper the Ghost yet again. Does anybody have a problem with Jake LaRavia having to be down there fighting off Daniel Gafford while LeBron is just like, okay, I'm ready to pick up my next free rebound? Those of you who keep saying what he's doing at this age, have you looked at what he's doing at this age? He's manipulating the game. It's an illusion. Oops, I was so caught up talking about Malone helping at his age that I forgot to show his actual rebound. That was his third rebound. And then he hustles down, actually beats some of the other guys across half court. All right, so let's get back in order. I showed Malone first, so I got to show Malone here to get us to number 4. That's number 4 for Malone, and watch him pop out the help. And then this is about as close to a 2026 rebound as we're going to get. But prior to that relatively easy rebound, he was jumping around and helping on defense. How does LeBron's fourth rebound compare? He catches it with bent arms at shoulder height because apparently Daniel Gafford doesn't care. But I like to talk about effort. I like to talk about the energy a player is expending, how hard they are trying, and ironically, LeBron fans want to talk about what he's doing at this age, and he always just seems to get to stand and wait for the rebound. I don't know why you're proud of that. Like, there's no question in my mind who Malone is guarding. It's obviously Malone on Duncan. Duncan misses. Malone doesn't get the rebound, but he runs down to the other end to help his team in another way. He is disrupting the defender, creating an opportunity for Kobe Bryant, but in order to do this, he had to run to the other end. My point is, LeBron only runs when he sees a self-glorification moment coming. Here comes LeBron's next rebound. And just like the point I was making, who was he guarding? Who was he fighting against before he grabbed that? Continuing with the effort theme, there's Malone on Duncan, 40-year-old Malone on Duncan. He's whistled for a foul here, but when you look at it from this angle after he absorbs the contact, it looks like his left arm is actually stripping that ball out of there. And he doesn't carry on or jump up and down in a tantrum the way that LeBron would. Point is, I can clearly see who 40-year-old Karl Malone is guarding. I don't know who LeBron James is guarding. And furthermore, I don't hear the announcers announcing that Karl Malone is 40 as he's guarding Hall of Famer Tim Duncan. Wow, are we already at this one with LeBron? I didn't remember counting that many. So again, it's LeBron versus his teammates, not versus the other team. He's pissed at Reeves. Give me my stats. And the same thing with this last one. Again, there's no danger whatsoever of the other team getting the rebound, only of Jackson Hayes maybe accidentally doing it. But no, Jackson Hayes knows the drill. He pulls his hands back. Man, at least Karl Malone was getting rebounds against the other team. It's been so entertaining seeing Malone give effort even when he isn't getting a rebound that I forgot to show his actual rebounds. Watch the footwork here. Duncan really wants to score on him, and Malone isn't having it. I haven't seen LeBron James play defense like that in the last 5 years. And then watch Malone sprint. It's not just defense that he's putting in the work. Watch what he goes through on this possession to get this shot. And I wouldn't call this a foul, but in 2026, when I see this, I'm thinking, okay, that would have been called a foul. And if not, LeBron James would have been having a fit. Take Duncan inside, pop back out, pump fake, and then drain it in his face. This play, Malone's defensive assignment, Tim Duncan. Then Malone chases after this loose ball. Teammate gets it. Well, that's all right. Nothing wrong with hustling, even if you don't come up with the ball, unless you're LeBron James, and then you're upset that your teammate got it. Did you guys time that cross-court transition? We have 6 players fighting for the rebound. And after that, they all sprint to get across. Even the Giants. Even Shaq and Karl. Oh, and the pull-up 3 is good. What you've been watching is a regular season game, an early season game even. That was in November. I only say that because the excuse-making crowd would be like, oh, it's a playoff game. That's not fair. It is fair because LeBron doesn't play defense in the playoffs either. His team has to play 4-on-5 even in the playoffs. But guess what? Karl Malone and Tim Duncan would meet again in the playoffs this year, and Karl Malone would help the Lakers past the Spurs. On to the next excuse. Which version of Duncan and the Spurs was this? Since LeBron James has played little to no defense since I can remember, it seems particularly pertinent to point out who Karl Malone was dealing with. The season before, the Spurs won the championship and Tim Duncan was Finals MVP. The season that Karl Malone came to the Lakers, they stopped the Spurs on their way to the finals, with Karl Malone guarding Tim Duncan. The very next year, the Spurs were back to the finals and won, and Tim Duncan was Finals MVP again. Karl Malone was retired by then, but we can look at the season that Karl Malone came to the Lakers and see a measurable impact that he had based on who his defensive assignment was. In LeBron's case, you're only going to be able to say glittering generalities about playing at a high level for a long time and his basketball IQ, while not being able to show me any tangible evidence of playing at a high level or having a high basketball IQ. He can't make shots when they matter. He turns the ball over in crucial moments. And you certainly can't tell me about his important defensive impact, at least not while showing any evidence as far as his stats, because fanboys like to quote stats. Oh, look at the numbers he's putting up. Well, those numbers, as this video is pointing out, revolve around bullshit situations, not real game-changing situations. LeBron James staying in the game in blowouts. LeBron James stat padding. LeBron James scoring in garbage time. LeBron James cherry picking. Digging through history might not be the most entertaining part of a basketball breakdown video, but it's exceptionally important when one considers the overhyping of an quote-unquote achievement that is no longer rare, special, or hard to come by. Indeed, this one seemed like it was a charity. In that 2003-2004 season that Malone got the 1 triple-double, they didn't talk about his age, how old he was when he got that triple-double, and why. Well, because getting a triple-double at that time was, in itself, a story. Look at the other people who got one triple-double in that season. Quite the company that he's keeping. Not exactly a shabby group of people to be included with. The grand total of triple-doubles for the season for all players was 32. There have already been 87 triple-doubles this season, and we are only at the All-Star break. Now, is this because the players in the NBA today are so much better than the past players? Well, I just watched a few seconds of the All-Star game, and it seems like nobody can hit a single shot. So maybe it's just because you actually had to earn your statistics back in the day. Look at this assist. A lot happens between the time that Marcus Smart receives the pass and Marcus Smart ends up scoring. That's not an assist. It's not. It's not directly leading to the player scoring. He threw the ball to another person who was out on the wing, and that person then created their own shot. I mean, that list I put on the screen isn't fake. First he pump faked at the perimeter, then he dribbled around the defender, got down low, then had to pump fake because he was met by a center, and then shot over the center. Very difficult play. I don't see how LeBron James gets any credit because he did not set his teammate up for a good scoring situation. His teammate just scored anyway, while LeBron James sat at the perimeter and watched. Now, just using Karl Malone's assists from his triple-double game in comparison to LeBron's assist in his historic triple-double game, we can see the stark contrast.
O'Neal, eyes wide open, smiling. Gosh, are they having fun? Gary Payton!
Every bucket scored via the assists from Karl Malone were within a second of the pass being made. That's pretty direct. The NBA is so lenient with what they consider an assist that I thought they officially changed the rules. But last year I made a video and went and realized, oh, no, they didn't. It is supposed to lead directly to a score. The NBA is defying their own rule book in handing out these statistics. It's bad enough that LeBron stayed in until the end of a blowout against a crap team to get exactly 10 rebounds, all defensive, of course. But even by today's rulebook definition, I can erase 3 of those. Boy, Marcus Smart is really making LeBron look good, creating his own shots out of nothing. Let's look at another one, if for no other reason than to examine LeBron's inability to legally dribble, but that's the same as talking about him breathing at this point. Once again, it's just a pass to Marcus Smart on the perimeter. He's not cutting to the basket. He's not already en route to scoring and receiving a great dish. He catches, fakes left, then drives. He defeats the primary defender, then shoots over the center. Man, Marcus Smart is balling and no one will talk about it. Why? Because he's on LeBron's team. I've made an argument to remove a 4th assist from his 10 based on the definition of what an assist is. 3 out of 4 of those, you can't beat me in that argument. It's not even close. Let's recap. 9 out of 10 of his rebounds came with no defensive effort whatsoever. 8 out of 10 came without a defender being near him. 2 out of 10 were blatant gifts from his teammates. Now you need to remove at least 3 of his assists, which knocks him out of double digits in that category too. Some of you are going to insist that these all count as legitimate stats, and where you will have to spend time arguing against what the rulebook says and against what your eyes are showing you, there's no argument to be made against any of Malone's assists or rebounds. And you're not going to see Malone doing this either at any point in the game. This next section is not an attack on specific players, but it's meant to show just how much things have changed when it comes to accumulating triple-doubles. Nikola Jokic, as an individual, is about to surpass 2003-2004's total triple-doubles by himself this season. And we are at All-Star break. Making it even crazier, he's only played in 39 games. Jokic is a great passer. This is nothing against him, but 51% of your games are ending in triple-doubles? There's so much anti-Jokic hate going on right now that I'm just going to jump past him and go to number 2 on the list. And I gotta confess, I don't know who Jalen Johnson is, but he's number 2 on the list for triple-doubles this season. I do know who Jason Kidd is. Prior to defeating LeBron's super team in 2011 as a 38-year-old, Jason Kidd was primarily known for his passing. And Jason Kidd led the league with triple-doubles in 2003-2004. Jalen Johnson, at the All-Star break, has already surpassed the 2003-2004 regular season assist leader, Jason Kidd. For context, Jason Kidd sits 3rd all-time in career assists. What's more likely, that we were all fooled into believing Jason Kidd was a better passer than he actually was, or that today's game has changed so much that almost anyone can rack up stats? Okay, recap. What do we know so far? Triple-doubles are no longer special. They're not rare. There were 149 last season, compared to 32 in 2003-2004. The criteria has changed. What is accepted as an assist now has changed drastically. The absence of defense makes it easier to accumulate assists, and when the other team doesn't show any interest in rebounding, well, that certainly affects whether or not you can rack up rebounds. Seriously, look at these clips. The other team is either already completely gone or almost gone or not in the frame at all. You also see that when there are teammates of LeBron's around, they kind of just stand there and wait for him to get the rebound, which brings us to the next point. No, hold on. Before we get to that point, just take a minute to digest what you're seeing. The other team is nowhere near getting the rebound. It's already guaranteed that the Lakers are going to get the rebound. Any of the 5 Lakers there could get it, but you already know who's going to get it, don't you? Because it's predetermined.
Nothing to look at. Don't act like you're not impressed.
Actually, we're not impressed. Well, maybe fanboys are impressed, but fanboys are only impressed because they're told to be impressed.
Malone, Bryant over to help. Shot clock down to 2, down to 1. Duncan had to force it. Rebounded.
Not only is it easier to get rebounds in today's NBA, in addition to that, they're catering to him. They're intentionally trying to help him get them in what is already an easy situation. Considering all of that, I'm actually a little bit surprised that it's taken this long for LeBron James to get this historic triple-double. The league caters to him. J.J. Redick caters to him. And via J.J. Redick, the rest of the Lakers have to cater to him. How did it take you this long, LeBron? They're trying to give it to you. All right, yeah, you're not playing, are you? You're not playing. Mr. Iron Man keeps sitting out. Consider what's written on this screen. LeBron James is referred to as something that he isn't and hasn't earned the title of being, while being celebrated for accumulating statistics that are literally being given to him. Here you go. Just playing enough games and you'll eventually get them, which doesn't make him much different than anyone you pull off the street, as long as they can stay on the court and be given free rebounds, or throw the ball to a person standing next to him who is then physically capable of going and creating their own shot. I'm asking you serious questions because the odds are you can make that pass to Anthony Davis. Odds are you can stand next to 4 other guys who make sure that the ball lands in your hands. This is why we can't celebrate this crap. If you can do it, why would you be excited about him doing it? And is that not offensive to the guys who had to battle for their statistics?
Malone tries to answer, and can, and he has 20.
You know how the announcers these days will tell you 17 times a game that it's year 23 and that LeBron James is age 41, what he's doing at this age, blah, 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 blah. I listened to the entire game of the Karl Malone triple-double. They didn't say his age once. They did not say his age once. You know what they did say? They said that it was his 4th career triple-double.
It's a 13 and 3. Here's Malone. That's a triple-double. 4th time in Karl Malone's career, a triple-double. And
I was like, what? That's only his 4th career triple-double, which led me to look into how many triple-doubles people used to have. You know what? They were hard to come by once upon a time. This was worth making a big deal about once upon a time. Not anymore. You know what else? They didn't spend the whole game talking about, is he going to get it tonight? Oh, he's approaching it. He might get it. No. They mentioned once when he was about to get it that he might get it. Then they announced when he did get it, and then as he was walking off the court at the end of the game.
Karl Malone, a triple-double as the Lakers have won 24 consecutive regular season home games, all 9 here in the 2003-2004.
Again, no mention of his age, and no mention of it ever again. What's my point? Well, back then, you went out and you did your job, and if you happen to rack up some stats along the way, then good for you. But you were there primarily to do your job. Look at the lead-in to LeBron James's triple-double night with all the pregame hoopla going on. It's like it was planned. And then if you look at the other team just letting him have shots, if you look at his own team helping him get rebounds, if you look at him staying in the 4th period with 2 minutes left until he finally gets that triple-double in a blowout, in a game he shouldn't have even been playing in, then you realize, oh, the game is now about getting your stats, and the team and competition comes second. Really? You get to promote your personal podcast during an NBA game? YouTube keeps feeding me pro-LeBron YouTube channels, even though it knows I don't want to see them, which tells you a lot about the ability to buy an algorithm. But it does provide a peek into just how bad things are out there, such as this title, Numbers Don't Lie. Well, the reality is that numbers do lie. I mean, the exact opposite of what you're excited about is reality. LeBron James's numbers are the definition of numbers that lie. But as long as Google/YouTube suppresses people like me telling the truth and promotes anyone and any AI channel that is paid to promote the lie of LeBron James, you'll never learn the truth. It's both strange and disturbing that we have reached this point in the effort to promote an athlete that can't earn respect via his actual basketball play. When I talk about the LeBron James propaganda team working overtime, it's not coming out of nowhere. This isn't random crap. I mean, I entered Karl Malone, triple-double, age 40. Everything says LeBron James breaking history. I typed Karl Malone correctly, didn't I? Look, it's one thing to like LeBron, it's another thing to erase history so that you only focus on him. We need to talk about this guy's personality and how it was on display on this quote-unquote historic night. This is a self-serving, delusional egomaniac who will sacrifice anyone at his own altar. If your ability to pay rent next month depended on you placing the right bet, and your choices were whether or not LeBron James would face a difficult team or sit out against a difficult team and wait for an easy team, well, your money's going to go on playing the easy team. Maybe you'll tweet something else, but we know where your money will go. How about telling the world that you are suffering from an injury on one day and then playing 35 minutes in a blowout the next day, and doing that multiple times in one season? These aren't one-offs. I'm not dwelling on a single incident. It's recurring. And this idea that it's perfectly acceptable to sit out one of 2 games when you have a back-to-back is nonsense. You want to sing the praises of somebody and what they're doing at their age while allowing LeBron James to sit out whenever he wants to? How about if you go back in time when players were actually battling on the court, weren't sitting out, weren't skipping out on defense, actually had a difficult defensive assignment, actually played both ends of the floor, actually fought for rebounds? When Malone was 39, his team, the Jazz, played 18 sets of back-to-back games. Malone played both games in those sets the vast majority of the time, while also playing 81 games that season. From ages 35 to 39, Karl Malone missed 5 games total. In the same amount of time, LeBron James has missed 100. Finally, we circle back to the triple-double night and the fact that LeBron James load managed the game before in an important game and decided to play 35 minutes in a game that his team didn't need him at all. After exposing himself by getting upset with a teammate who took one of his rebounds, at the end of the game, LeBron James had the nerve to tell the reporter that he wasn't worried about that. The only thing that really mattered was getting the win.
The win, that's the most important, and to be able to do it and get the win, that's what means more to me than anything.
LeBron, the team was going to get the win without you, perhaps by an even larger margin. If winning was in fact your priority, and you do in fact think that you are that good, then you should have played against the team that your team needed you, not 35 minutes in a game where your team did not need you. But again, the delusional mindset of someone who is widely regarded as one of the worst stat padders ever, to sit there and say he wasn't interested in the stats and only interested in the win, that's some next level shit.
Bonus time. Anyone who is familiar with the old school NBA probably knows that Karl Malone earned a little bit of a reputation for swinging his elbows. How does that make it different than today? Well, LeBron James does all kinds of dirty things, and the only thing you'll hear from announcers is explaining, oh, well, that's not like him. 23 years of, oh, well, that's not like him. At least in the case of Karl Malone, the announcers said, well, that's Karl and his elbows. You got to watch out for it.
I said earlier, he leads with his elbows. And if you get too close, you're going to catch one of those things.
I'm a little bit torn on this one. I mean, that elbow is kind of lethal, and yet Tim Duncan did, in fact, jump into the pump fake. What do you guys think? They called the foul on Tim Duncan, if you're interested. And now just some pure amusement looking at this older footage. Shaq's free throws. My God. Ginobili being thrown to the ground by Shaquille O'Neal. And regardless, he comes right back in. In conclusion, I don't love or hate Karl Malone. The only reason I'm making this video is because I realized, wow, the constant promotion of LeBron James's physical achievements don't even measure up to someone who we don't even talk about's physical achievements. What do you guys think? Was this enlightening? Did you enjoy this? What did you learn? What did you not like? It's Angry Old Hoops. Thanks for watching.
Shout out to Karl Malone for knowing when to shave his head and looking better while doing it than LeBron James. LeBron spent millions of dollars on his head, only to still end up looking as bald as Karl Malone, but being uglier.